Welcome to the Rocky Road Podcast, brought to you by Rockbusters, with your host, Dennis Wager. Dennis is a best-selling author and an expert in demolition, rock, and concrete breaking, as well as a professional blaster. He is also president of Rockbusters Incorporated, along with his son, Brian. On the podcast, you'll hear exciting stories of how these challenge types of rock and concrete jobs are done. You learn about the uses of expanding grout and explosive devices. But furthermore, you'll hear about some of the hurdles and struggles entrepreneurs and business owners have had along the way, how they got started, and how they broke through the obstacles and found the path to success. Along with that, some insight for young people and people wanting to get into the industry. So listen in. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, here's Dennis Wager.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome today to the show Christine Blanchette. Welcome to the show, Christine. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here, and I love your podcast, Rocky Road Podcast. Love it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And you have a lot of experience in this arena yourself. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background, too.
Yes. Well, I host and produce 2 TV shows, Run With It, which is a running fitness and health program. I interview athletes, doctors, registered dietitians, nutritionists, people who are following a healthy lifestyle, fitness entertainment. And the other show is called The Closing Act, and it's music entertainment. So CEOs in the music industry, entertainers, comedians, singer-songwriters, of course, and actors. And it's been great. I mean, hosting, producing 2 shows, and it keeps me quite busy.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. How did you get started in it all?
Well, it started when the first show, Run With It, was created in 2013, Dennis. And I was working in sales for Post Media, and I worked in the newspapers, which is Richmond News, Delta Optimist. And I loved my job, but unfortunately I was laid off. And so I had to go back to school, and I studied multimedia. And then one day, Dennis, I was, on deadline. I was on my computer, and epiphany moment came, and I thought, what am I going to do? Because I can't write, and, I have to, I'm going to create a TV show. And I'm thinking,
of course, it's a natural thought. Why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, it's a natural thought. But I don't know. It just came to me. But I also have some experience. Now, I was a contract worker for CBC and for Rogers TV. I was actually volunteering, and I hosted a show called West Side Profile. So I had half-hour shows, live to tape, but I had my experience from there. So, I had some media experience in TV, as I said, and I thought, why not? And then I reached out to Doug Lucas, who I met through Rogers TV, and he said, send me a proposal, which I did. And the rest is history, because he accepted it. We worked together, and it took 2 years to get off the ground. It was a pilot.
Okay.
The pilot was horrible. I mean,
okay. Yeah. Well, we don't always nail it right out of the gate, right?
No, and it froze, the show.
It does, yeah. Yeah. That's very cool. And it's always those kind of moments where you're kind of stuck, like as I like to say, between a rock and a hard place, where you make a decision, right? And you go with it. And I really love that. That's really like my favorite thing about the entrepreneurial spirit, is just not knowing where you're really going, like just kind of picking a direction and sort of keeping your fingers crossed, right? But what would you say, would it be fair to say that you would want to tend what like go down the direction of the TV shows because that's what you were familiar with, or was it like a brand new experience for you?
It was. I had an idea about TV because, I worked for CBC as a contract worker, and I had an idea about Rogers, like hosting and producing, and I was even a request line operator. Now, that was pretty crazy sometimes, because I would have people call in and wanted to ask the host a question, and I had to monitor And it was sitting on the hot seat. It was like I had to make sure that I didn't send someone that was questionable, if I may say, like,
Yeah.
because, and then also for CFOX radio in Vancouver, I was also a request line operator. Now that was crazy from all my
Interesting.
experience to navigate. Oh, and then I was a host assistant for the Miracle Children's Network for BCTV at the time, or UTV, which is now, I'm trying to think, Global TV. So yes, all that experience has helped me, along the way. And it's not an easy road
No,
because,
it's not always.
and I was listening to Emily's podcast last night, and I
Okay.
totally agree. It's passion. If you're passionate about what you do, you can do anything, but also have realistic goals, right?
Hmm.
And you need to have a team of people that are going to believe in your project and and go through that try to navigate through the path. But I think you will get there. It's just really knowing what you want and being passionate about what you do. I think that is,
I think so too.
yes.
And I think a lot of it is just kind of keeping the mindset of trying to have gratitude for the journey, and not be focused on I want to be here and I'm not yet, but just
Yes.
just enjoy the steps.
Yes, and I also been trying to enjoy the journey. It's a process. So, I'm thinking, I got to get to the finish line, get to the finish line. But why not take a
Hmm.
step back? And this is for me, like, enjoy the process, the journey, because the journey is
Yeah.
an exciting one. It's also a challenging one. And as an entrepreneur, like,
Hmm.
how that road doesn't always go the way you want it to go. But having that team is so crucial because the team will help you. They will support you. And I believe in treating everyone the way I like to be treated. And they will go, and I'm just using a cliche, they'll go through the wall for you. And it's
Hmm.
just so important to who is also in your front row, who's there. And now the people in your
Exactly.
front row may not be there they may be there for a whole year, but then they'll go maybe in the middle row or whatever. But the team is very, very important.
I agree, and I think it's a lot of also just kind of keep putting yourself out there, right? And don't be afraid of uh, the failures, or don't be afraid of what people might think. And you're going to get it wrong, and that's
Yes.
okay. It's okay.
Yes, it's okay, and I think
Yeah.
too is that just because someone says no now doesn't mean they're going to say no in 6 months' time. And behind me, I have Fearless, the book Fearless. Like, just I rather try than, like, I have this saying is I rather fail at something. At least I know I tried. And
Yeah.
it's like not everyone's going to say yes to what you believe in. So it's always taking that positive mindset, as you said, and just keep going, and you'll make it.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think the same. It's just I think the more failures that you have, if you learn something or some things from each failure, and the quicker that you just don't let that bother you, but just keep moving ahead, that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And then the wins that you get, you just kind of put those in your pocket and just keep going for more.
Yes, because you never know who you're going to meet either. Because just because
No,
someone
you
said
don't.
no, right, doesn't mean they may have somebody else that may say yes to you. But that being said, like, we're always learning, and I just navigate every day. Like, I always, like, Dennis, I always have a goal, which, you put it in your calendar every day. You have to achieve this, and I'll move it to the next day. And then I'm thinking, okay, all my ducks in a row, but then they all, like, fall apart because there's a
Mhm.
deadline, or there's something that came up, there's a cancellation. It's just being, positive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about was you're very up on health and wellness. And we had a coffee the other day, and we talked about that, and we talked about how does blowing up rocks collide with health and wellness. What can we blow up to get to the healthy part?
Well, know that how many rocks you have are rock in a hard place. Because I
Yeah.
think, you made me talk because through life, it is, you don't know where you're going to be. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to do this, but it ends up that you're doing something else. So it's just knowing the positive mindset, with the going back to, everybody goes through a rock and a hard place. We have to just acknowledge that and accept that. And yes, some things will blow up in your
Yeah,
face.
they blow up. Yeah, literally.
But I think if it's
Some things
healthy
blow up
rocks,
literally and some metaphorically. You never
well,
always know quite which is which.
then it just is, but healthy rocks, I put it like,
Yeah, the healthy
you,
rocks. Yeah.
you can't expect, I love pet rocks too. I remember
Yeah, I remember when those were a thing when they came out. That guy made a fortune just selling pet rocks. Remember that?
yes, yes. So I think you can have healthy spaces with rock gardens and, um, in you're building a gym, you're building as I said, a garden. It's how you visualize it. I think that is the thing, is the planet. I think when you plan it, that's when you can navigate through it and expect these, as as a business owner, entrepreneur, you can't always expect this project to be the milestone, right? Is where everything is going to be the highlight. It could change on a dime.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know what? Since we met last, we've now started a job in West Vancouver
Mm,
where we're working in the backyard of an existing house. And it's a beautiful house, beautiful yard. They have a big in ground pool, big patio overlooking the ocean. And for some reason, there's a retaining wall, and then there's this big outcropping of rock. And they brought in a designer to
mm,
do something with it. So she called us and said, okay, well, this is what I have like a vision of. I want to carve the rock into a pond and a waterfall. So, like, can you do that? And, my answer, of course, is, of course, we can. We'll figure it out. So we're out there carving, cutting, splitting, breaking the rock, and we've now drilled and broken out a pit to put the pump, and then the pond part, which is like a lower than the patio, and we're starting to carve and cut away the rock to kind of create the waterfall or the fountain area. But it's really interesting because you get different varieties of jobs, right? Like you get jobs that are very practical, like the ones that we do a lot of where we're taking rock out of the basement so they can create a space. So there, nobody really cares, how pretty it is. It's more practical, right? It's more, I just want the rock out of my way so I can build what I want to build. But then you slip into this kind of realm where it's like, okay, you can really use your creative side, and it's really fun, and it's just trying to make the most out of it. You have to kind of match up with the person's budget, what they want to spend, because we charge hourly, and it's rather expensive, but we can spend a lot of time at it, and we can cut it and polish it and create anything that they want, really. And it's just trying to match up like a vision that they have with what we can supply, kind of on a budget that they want, that'll fit them, right? So that's been very interesting. And then that brought me back to what we were talking about, where you were saying nowadays a lot of people are just, would rather stay at home, where they can have a gym built in house. They can have, a sushi bar. They can have everything that they want in their house. And then, we looked online. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with like natural rock, or leave an edge of the mountainside into the house, and things like that. And then it was the feeling that you get from the rock. The rock's very serene. It doesn't get more natural than that, right?
mm.
Just the natural face of the rock side. So that's what I kind of see is how these could kind of come together with the health and wellness, and people that are looking for something that's very unique. There is some really cool options out there.
Yes, and you feel like you're in a natural space too. It's you feel calm, you feel, and it's also about the needs, right? What is the client's needs and what they want, like the gym. Could also build your own studio too. People now, like
Hmm.
we're talking, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people like myself are doing virtual interviews as well as in person, but it's that it's what client envisions, right? And then they can change their mind as they go along, because then you are matching, like you're putting your input in there too, Dennis. But I
Right.
do like the waterfall, behind me. I don't know if you can see it, but I have rocks, um, little rocks with a fountain of water. And I love that. I would like that bigger,
I
you
can't
know?
see that, Christine. We'll have to get something bigger.
Yes. And I will
I'll
bring,
fix you up.
I'll fix you up and I'll bring it right to my side. You
There we go.
see?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
to me,
nice.
I love, so it just brings tranquility, it brings calmness. But I personally love rocks. I have, so,
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's it. Like, and there's so much you can do now. Like a job that I just looked at yesterday to do an estimate on is in Deep Cove. It's right on the ocean, and the person has two houses side by side,
mm,
and the one house is a little more modern than the original house. The original house is more out on the point, and it was renovated, but it was the original existing house from I think the 1930s.
mm,
But the whole thing, like, I mean, to wake up to that every day, you can't get any better than that. Like, even like all the money in the world aside, to just have that, the whole, you know, seascape of Deep Cove, as your background to, any day you want to sit on the deck or to get up in the morning and have a coffee. Yeah. So to build on that kind of thing, there's so much available now, and that's what I see us kind of moving into more of, doing like these underground houses, or doing like the custom cutting, custom, jackhammering or breaking of rock to create something that's very unique.
mhm. Well, also too, like I'm not an architect or anything, but I interviewed an architect, and it's all about independent living too, right? You don't have to leave your home or your space. You can have everything there, like your kitchen, your gym, as we said, and your studio. It's just like, except for grocery shopping,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
or even, if you want to take your run outdoors. But if you have that beautiful set or space, you just feel like, home theater, everything you can imagine. The sky's the limit, really.
hmm exactly. Yeah, you have a lot more calm at home, and you can enjoy yourself. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what I see a lot too now. Like we were talking about, a lot of people, that's what they want to invest in is making their home as nice as possible. Because
Yes.
over all the years, that has been the most secure asset is real estate, right? So
Yes. And then some may not think, well, how do I do this? And that's where you can come in and say, okay, we could do this, could do that. And it's actually, like, as I said, enjoy the journey, the process, because, you look back, so, oh my goodness, I didn't know I could do this, right? And
yeah, no, totally. And like, we can work with the engineers. We have like shoring engineers to secure things. We have like small mini excavators and mini dump carriers. We can go inside of buildings. There's now electric excavators, which produce zero emissions, and concrete breakers to break out any slabs, sidewalks, old patios. We can just come in and redo the whole space, right? So
mhm,
that's been fun. I think that's what I enjoy about the business, as well as learning new things. It's like every job. A lot of the jobs are similar or the same, but not all of them. Like a lot of them that you do get, like, oh, this is a really, like the one in Deep Cove. This is a really cool job. It's just like, what
yeah.
can we do with this, right?
It's exciting, as you said, the word fun, right? I
It's
mean,
fun. Yeah.
you're changing people's lives, improving the quality of people's lives.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it exactly. And yeah, it's fun for me to do, and then it's fun for the owners as well, because you can see them kind of get excited about, hey, this is really, just through a conversation you can explore different ideas and come up with some budgets or ideas or different ways to go about it, and then they can choose what suits them the best, right?
Yes, definitely. And I think too is that it's just, the community where you are. It just is that healthy community, or healthier community, if you will. And just know that you can make changes, but it's like knowing about it. It's like sometimes we don't know about, I would say, the word running. I teach a learn to run clinic. and they think, oh, how do I, well, this is how you start. So everybody needs, I think, generally, how do I start? I have all these
Yeah.
rocks. Where do I, and this is where
What do I
you
do?
come
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, and exactly the same as with what you're talking about with the Run With It show, like
Hmm.
or the coaching, the teaching. There's got to be a lot behind that too, right? To help get people started.
Yes, it's the same thing. Unless you don't tell them, sometimes they don't know. And I think, is having the right team, enjoying the journey, having goals. And I know goals change along the way. It happens to me every day,
Yeah,
but that's okay because it's your mindset, right? And I think too is that if you are, when we're as an entrepreneur, it's not easy. There's always some stress, but every job has stress. But taking that positive mindset and going out self-care and going out for a walk or run. I have Run With It is not a running show too. It's swimming. You could be a swimmer, walker, whatever. But movement, you're out there, getting some
doing it.
exercise.
Yeah, that's really great. So what's your favorite of them all to work on?
Oh, every day changes.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, I just love the guests, I love interviewing. I love putting together questions and then saying, all these questions okay, and then actually doing the interview. The interview could change because it is a conversation and active listening. You think, oh, I didn't know that. And I don't say that obviously, but I would, pick up on that, but it's the
Yeah.
interviewing. I love, and I'm always learning, like editing, right? I'm not the best editor, but I can edit a
Okay.
little bit. So it's
Okay. That,
we're getting.
that's awesome. That's what I like too. It's just like a lot of the guests that I've had on my show, I've known for years and years. And even though I know them very well, it's like through the show, just the process, just like you and I are doing right now, you get to deepen that relationship. You get to learn more about them. Uh, and that's been really incredible to do that, and it's a really interesting way.
Building relationships. I think
Yeah.
when you meet someone, it takes a few times, and sometimes it's okay because they end up being friends, or like I said at the beginning, they can say, no, do you want, the first time, but they may not say, well, I always positive. They may say yes in 6 months' time as an example, but building
Yeah.
relationships is the key because you got to build that trust.
Exactly. Even with having conversations, like not everybody even has like an easy time with having conversations, like it's a lot, I find, just in the listening, if
Yes.
you just say a few words, but then listen and kind of digest what the other person is saying, then you can, come up with a natural response. But a lot of people, they already in their mind have their response as the person's not even finished their sentence yet. And it's just, kind of,
Yes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just,
Yes. Or you go back and say, is this what you meant? And, you
yeah,
know,
that's a good tip too. I've done that in the past too, because you could say like 100 things, but they might have only heard three, and I'd like to know which of those three you heard. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Did I say that? And the thing too is like when you leave a meeting, sometimes you can always follow up by email and say, this is what I was enjoy speaking with you. We, you know, meet again. But it's like you're at the table and you're thinking, how can we work together? And sometimes, as I
mhm,
said, it doesn't always work out, but it's okay because there's somebody
yeah,
else out there.
yeah, no, exactly. And I think as a contractor too, that's been helpful for me just to kind of try to put myself in the customer's shoes and
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
understand what they want, right? And we may not be able to always deliver it, and just say, this is kind of the way that we work, and if it fits, great. But this is, to kind of be upfront with what their expectations are, right?
Yes, and I think too is the thing that I'm doing is intuition. You listen to your intuition, it will guide
Hmm.
you. If you don't feel right about something, whether it's a big contract or not, whatever, small, it doesn't matter. If your intuition says no, then you just listen to it. Because often I think, I'm so glad I listened to my intuition because it
Yeah,
didn't work out because there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
reason.
There's a reason for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what about the producing of the TV shows? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, I prep, as I said, I do my interview, and then I have to, I call it farm it off to the professional editor because, as I said, I'm not the, but I do edit. I'm saying, oh,
Okay.
and then I have it packaged. So there's like a team behind me, and I am so grateful, gratitude that I have a great team. So I put it all together, but I have to be working because what I do is so important. Like my Emerson, who packages the shows, I work
Mhm.
with them. I'll say, "What do you think, Emerson? Do you think we should put that in there?" And he'll say yes or no, whatever. I listen. I listen to my
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
and then I put everything together so he doesn't like have to guess. Time is
Yeah.
precious. So yes, that's the producing. It's coming up, and I have people always asking me. Well, always. I have a waiting list of people wanting to be on my shows,
Yeah.
and it's been an incredible ride. At first, Dennis, when I first started a show, I had to go through the
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 phone book.
jungle.
Do
Do you
you want
want
to
to
come
be
up?
a guest on my show?
Yeah.
Rock and
Yeah.
hard fight. Like,
That's
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you enjoy that? That's probably one of the best parts, I think, or what would you
Yeah,
say?
yeah, I would say yes. But every day is different, though. I mean, sometimes, I'm human. I have days that I'm like, I'm not ready, but I do it. Once it's like that run. The first 5 minutes out there running, I feel okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. And then what about the teaching part? You do some teaching as well, right?
I love teaching. I love it. I love helping people. I teach freelance producing for social media and broadcast, but I'm always
Hmm.
learning. They inspire me, like running. I'm
Okay.
always learning. We never stop learning.
Yeah. So what's the biggest takeaway that you could share with young people or people wanting to get into the industry?
Thanks for asking. Find a mentor.
Oh,
Find
interesting.
someone that you can talk to because the more people you help, the better world we are in. It really, to me, if I can inspire people, it makes me leaving that legacy. It's
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. So I kind of find the same too for myself. Like we're, hiring new people all the time and then training them, showing them what to do. And yeah, it's a lot of that same kind of thing. And well, even just like you, I never really expected to have to learn so much marketing or about marketing. Yeah, I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to drill rocks and blow things up, but apparently not.
but,
And
you
then
know,
you have to think, okay, which hat am I putting on today? Am I putting on my marketing hat, my sales hat, or my blow things up hat?
yes, yes. And I wear many hats too, as you know, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
But again, finding the right person, the mentor, and um, yeah, I'm always happy to help people too. It's been
yeah, I think that's a big part, and I think that's a certain personality that's like us, and in that way where you just kind of find the gratitude in sharing your knowledge and yourself with other people.
yes, absolutely,
You know,
and it goes a long way because I want to pay it forward because I've had people who've helped me, so I want
hmm
to pay it forward.
Yeah, I have so many people like that myself, and it's not always the ones that you expect to show up. It's a lot of times, quite often the ones that you don't expect that they just show up and say, "Here, I'll do this or do that," and in so many different ways, people
Yes,
have just shown up to help, right? And it's kind of like lifelong friends that you just either they're friends or businesses acquaintances or whatever they might be, but people that you always stay connected to that kind of remains your inner circle, just like we were talking about in the beginning there. Kind
yes,
of you're at the front row or the middle row, but you just keep things going and work together.
yes. Building relationships. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was great. I think we're good, and I think I want to thank you for coming on the show. That was amazing, and it was really great to spend this time and to connect more with you.
Dennis, thank you for having me. It was such a blast. It's
It was, yeah,
really, really was. I so enjoyed it. It went so fast, and thank you.
It does go fast. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, thanks very much again, Christine, and you enjoy your day, and then we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode and tell us your story, visit our website at www.rockbusters.com. If you have a project and would like to learn more about our products, or if you're interested in partnering with us and becoming a distributor, give us a call. Thanks again. We appreciate your support.